Welcome back to Power Lunch. We've got a crypto rally today as Bitcoin is just short of its all-time highs. MacKenzie Sigalos is joining us now with a look at kind of what's driving the trade. Is it really something that can be characterized as a so-called Trump trade?
Hey, Dom. So Bitcoin is trading at its highest point since March. It's up more than 5% in the last 24 hours, with Bitcoin's trading volume topping $31 billion and more than $224 million in short positions liquidated over that same window. Now, meanwhile, stocks tied to digital asset prices like Riot Platforms, Coinbase, and MicroStrategy are all rallying this morning, along with the wider crypto market, as Bitcoin breaks past that key 70K resistance level. Now, spot Bitcoin ETFs have also seen a surge of inflows, adding over $3.1 billion in just the last 2 weeks, bringing the total market cap of those funds to nearly $73 billion since they launched in January. I've been speaking with analysts, and they say that with 1 week to go until the general election here in the U.S., investors are increasingly bullish that no matter who wins, it will be a net benefit for the industry. And already, guys, we are seeing options traders increase bets that regardless of who takes the White House, Bitcoin is poised to hit that 80K mark this year.
Okay. For what it's worth, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying this, but I saw Bill Miller last week. He was obviously been very bullish on Bitcoin. He's sort of, I don't know if we're going to use the word retired. You're never retired, as you know, in this game. And a lot of people have come up to him and said, look, you told us 10 years ago to buy this. Is it too late? And he said to them, Chris, I'm curious what you think, that it's like buying Amazon in 2014. Yes, it was up a lot from the IPO, but its big run was still to come.
I tend to agree with that. I mean, look, I'm of the age where people believed in gold in the 70s and 80s. And it is the gold for people 40 and under, and also Bill Miller and me. I mean, I do think it's a hedge against inflation. I do think there's limited supply. That's the whole gimmick. So don't scoff at it.
So, Mac, this is, you mentioned regardless of who wins, and that was part of your story. I would like to look at what happens beyond the election, right? Regardless of who wins. I'm not making a call, and I'm not saying Bitcoin is either. But what happens to the entire ecosystem? Is there a feeling like this is that 80,000, 90,000, 100,000? Some people are calling for Bitcoin 1 million in the course of the next 5 to 7 years. What does the outlook look like past the election?
Well, part of the reason why the industry raised $278 million, more than 18x what it raised in the 2020 election cycle, is because they're trying to put cash behind House and Senate candidates who are ultimately going to comprise the Congress that's going to pass some of these crypto bills into law. For years now, we've had different bills that have come to the floor. Nothing has been passed. And I can tell you that the first two line items on the congressional agenda are trying to repeal SAB 121, which is this niche accounting bulletin that's standing in the way of banks being able to custody cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, and then passing FIT 21. Now, this is a market legislation bill that essentially would lay out jurisdictional authority between existing regulators like the SEC and the CFTC, and institutions say, hey, this is what we need to feel comfortable jumping into the ecosystem.
Well, and Coinbase, meanwhile, I mean, that's the other interesting play for those who work for the company or have owned the shares. They would love to see that. I mean, they're up, but they'd like to see it up kind of back towards the real highs.
Yeah, and I think that the two big questions for Coinbase. One, the existential threat of these spot Bitcoin ETFs, because yes, they are a custody partner for these issuers, but ultimately it's taking some of their business. You know, you would otherwise store it on an exchange. The second question for Coinbase is they are in the midst of this, protracted litigation with the SEC. I spoke to Paul Gural, their chief legal officer, about an hour ago about the outcome of the election, and he's optimistic either way. He did show up at a Donald Trump fundraiser in June, held at David Sachs' home. But at the end of the day, I think that the question is, will there be turnover at the top of the SEC, regardless of who's in the White House? And what does that mean for existing litigation against Ripple, against Coinbase, against Robinhood?
All right. Will there be, sorry, real quickly, does he know if there's going to be turnover? I guess it depends, or?
Donald Trump has promised to unseat Chair Gensler if he wins. Kamala Harris has not come out and said that, but typically we do see a change in leadership when there's a turnover in the administration.
Yeah.
Chris, are your clients asking for crypto?
Yes, they're asking about it, and any asset that goes up as much as crypto, they're curious. Do you think that Trump or Harris will be better from a regulatory standpoint for crypto?
I think that with respect to the big institutions, they would like to see Donald Trump because they know what they're going to get at the SEC. And then with respect to the crypto investor, I think that regardless of who wins, they're very optimistic that we're going to see the kinds of bills passed that are going to open up the doors to institutional money. And that's really what the ecosystem needs to scale. They need a lot of Wall Street cash onboarded into crypto.
Yeah. Mac, thank you very much. MacKenzie Sigalos.